Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, and we are talking about some very interesting news today. We are going to talk about the possibilities of the Bitcoin spot ETF, obviously. We are going to talk about a Bitcoin crypto market signal today that has not flashed for 10 years. We are going to talk about altcoins also because there is some stuff, good, maybe bad in the market. We will see in terms of altcoins. To name specific, two of them is Gala and Maker or Ethereum. And we are going to go over the charts as always. We're going to talk Ecomi and Veve, but all of that right after the intro. So good morning to all of you. I already see some of the people that are also getting only a little bit of sleep, because Felipe has been on around the Ecomiverse as well yesterday. I have been there too, talking with Jordan and Dr. of Stuff. Was a good conversation. I liked the stream, and I hope you too. By the way, Felipe, sorry for writing your name completely wrong. That's because I do that. I always say the name, so somehow I wrote it like I say it. Then also, look behind me. The wall of, or the family of rare hodlers has just grown bigger yesterday, because Green Lantern HD, aka Dr. Knut, is on the bottom right now with the mint number 20 as the Green Lantern. I hope that's okay like this, Mr. Knut. If not, let me know. And good morning to you, Luke, as well. So yeah, guys, make sure to smash up the like button. Everyone who is already in here, thanks for the like. And if you're not subscribed yet, obviously subscribe so you can be on the next live stream as well. Sven Janis is here and says it. Thank you, Knut. You deserve it. You said you deserve it. We all deserve it. I hope we're doing really, really good all together in the next days. But yeah, if you want to become a rare hodler like Green Lantern HD here, then you can just become a channel member and support me constantly, and then you will be minted here on this wall with the next available mint. Anyways, with that out of the way, let's just jump right into all of the news. So, former SEC chair, so basically who was the Gary Gensler before Gary Gensler, I don't know if that really exists, but who was the chairman of the SEC. Institutional investors clearly want access to BTC. Approval of spot Bitcoin ETF is inevitable, right? So approval of the spot Bitcoin ETFs is inevitable, and he basically says what we are all thinking, because if you think about it, and I said this also on that Ecomiverse stream yesterday, the SEC has approved Bitcoin future ETFs already. Bitcoin future ETFs are basically, you are speculating on the future price of Bitcoin. Now, the SEC argues that they need to protect investors by denying or by delaying a spot Bitcoin ETF. But the correlation between a Bitcoin futures ETF and a spot ETF, the spot ETF not being allowed yet and the Bitcoin futures ETF already being traded, is 99%. The correlation is 99%. It's between the spot price and the futures price, so the development of the price, right? Yet the SEC has even allowed a leveraged Bitcoin futures ETF. And now the providers of the future providers of the spot Bitcoin ETFs, the Valkyrie and BlackRock and Wisdom Tree and ARK Invest and everyone else, they are just asking the SEC why, if it's 99% correlated, if it's so similar, why don't you allow it? And then the SEC says, yeah, but it's different because you are investing in it directly, direct exposure, blah blah blah, these providers, also Grayscale, they're like, okay, but then just apply the same rules as with the Bitcoin futures ETF because the outcome is so similar. So it seems that there's no argument at all, and in the end, it's as this chairman says, it is clear that Bitcoin is something that retail investors want access to, institutional investors want access to. So and they want the access in form of a custodian because they don't want to deal with the wallet addresses and sending stuff around and getting off exchanges on a ledger and having seed phrases and passwords and all this stuff of losing it either on an exchange or by sending it wrongly and so on. So there is a lot of confusion basically around this. So he is saying approval is inevitable. The dichotomy between a futures product and a cash product can't go on forever. As I've explained before, that's basically what he's saying. And then he's basically saying the SEC is uncertain whether cash trading was so easily manipulable that retail folks should not have access to it. However, there are now large institutions with surveillance mechanisms who are coming in and saying, no, that's not the case. We can rely on the efficacy of cash market to a sufficient extent where we believe it's a legitimate product. That's a shift. So overall, we can state or we can confirm that this is more likely than not coming, which brings us into the phase, and also JP Morgan believes the SEC will be forced to approve the Bitcoin ETFs after losing the case against Grayscale. Grayscale had filed for turning their Grayscale Trust, their Bitcoin Trust, which is basically a fund that just mimics the price of Bitcoin and can trade in premium and discount, so it's not directly linked. And they basically wanted to turn their Bitcoin Trust into a real spot Bitcoin ETF. They filed for that. The filing got denied, and they sued the SEC over this denial. And now they won, right? So JP Morgan actually believes that also the same thing as the former chair. So that really doesn't look that good for the SEC to deny those ETFs. What they can do is that they delay it until 2024, and at least they create, let's say, a more exhausting crap market, as we said yesterday. Good morning, Energy. How are you doing? What are we buying today? That is the question. So this one is also, I thought this was interesting. So this is from Pentoshi Europeng. And he says, I think we still will eventually get some bearish Binance news versus DOJ, Department of Justice, right? That should be seen as opportunity. But overall, we also likely get ETFs this year or early next year, and BTC heading into the 401 case. So basically in the retirement saving accounts, having a part of this into Bitcoin. Said it before, but this is a year for accumulation. Don't lose sight of the bigger picture. And that is also the message that I want to bring, because the SEC can deny it. Yes, there will be FUD. Yes, the price may go down to 22,000. Yes, but overall, we are in big accumulation phase, with an outlook to come up. And this is what reflects also in this chart. So you see here basically the gray lines here are the halvings. What is marked with the arrows is where we would be in another cycle right now. So for example, in the last cycle, we would have a slow and grinding multi-month downturn, and then when we ramp up, have a black swan, right? Now we are exactly at the same phase here, whereas in the one before, in the bull market, we basically from there were only going up. There would be from here, and this is way exactly the point that we were in time-wise to the halving, right? Every of these little segments is a month. We would have been only going up if we would follow the trajectory of that one. And you could argue that because of the looming like sea crisis with all the turmoil that is going on, and you have still this downswing, and then you go into a maybe little bit capped cut-off market. We will see how it turns out, but we have these, basically these, what is that? Until the end of the year, we have the rest of September plus October, November, December, so little less than 4 months, and then we have another 4 months into the halving, so 8 months total left over for us to accumulate into the halving. So actually every segment here is 2 months. Rada says, I drop in each day to offer a like. Thank you, man. Guys, smash the like button. 16 people here, that is really good. So if you have your coffee, sorry I can't stay for long, as I must go to work around this time. Hey, you don't have to say sorry for that. I appreciate you stopping by for 2 minutes even, or if it's only 1 minute, I appreciate it. If it's only the like, I appreciate it. So I really appreciate what some people are doing here for the stream. For me, is absolutely crazy. I never thought that I would sit here someday when I made this channel almost 2 years ago. It's not yet 2 years. It will be in the end of October. I never thought that one day I would sit and make live streams every morning, right? So I really appreciate that, Rada. Veve Wheels is here, GM fam. Energy says the first coffee. Yeah, the first of many probably, because I didn't sleep much. GMPH says JKRB. Hey, you were on the Around the Ecomiverse stream yesterday as well, right, JK? Taffy Jones is here. GM, great chat last night. Oh yeah, you also, Taffy. So many people here that you guys. So you can't tell me that you guys slept more than 5 hours, or you are so much around the world that you are still alive. Still alive is good, yeah. Still awake. That's what I wanted to say. Still alive, hopefully as well. Energy with the love. Let's go. So one more thing. This is from Trader Alan, Trader Tardigrade. So we have the 200 week moving average here, right? And it's just the same as in not the last cycle, but 2 cycles ago. So the big question is, can we really turn down the last cycle like this? But if we do, we see dump, come back up, break the 200 week moving average again, and then go for basically a run up, parabolic run until the absolute peak. So are we in front of that? If so, us breaking would be probably in October somewhere, and then we're just off the races. When we compare Bitcoin to the 200 week moving average on weekly chart, we find that BTC was rejected to this moving average twice. This is what BTC experiencing now. Stochastic dropped down to oversold zone at that time too. So we see that is happening here. It looks very similar to the run before. So could we be in an economic environment that is more comparable to 2 runs ago than to last run? Maybe. We don't know. Yo, Omicron, what is good? The entire crew of yesterday's stream also here. That is insane. But let's come to the one signal that has not flashed for 10 years. And this is this one here. And I need to put the chat a little bit to the side. So this is what I put in the thumbnail, right? But the whole thing only gets really good because of this one here. So what are we seeing here? So the black line is our 20 SMA, our moving average, right? And the indicator that we're seeing down below is the Bollinger Band width percentile. And the Bollinger Band's width percentile is basically telling us how tight the Bollinger Bands are at a certain point in time. And usually when there are two types of tight Bollinger Bands. The ones where the width and the tightening, right? So you have the red line here where it's very, very bearish, so to say. And you have the absolute bottom line here at almost 0% with very low volatility, where you are heading into a bullish move. Now, in 2013, and now I have to, there's basically 2 times, and you cannot see 1 millimeter of let me see if I can, there we go. So look at this. You have 2 times where this happened on the bearish side and 0 times where this happened on the bullish side. It never went as tight in the entire history of this indicator and of Bitcoin. So we have 2 times the bearish one, and after that we had 2 mega drawdowns. So when we hit the absolute 100% of this percentile on the upper range, we had a 75% drawdown. And when we hit it the second time, we had a 86% drawdown. Now we hit it to the lower end, and for the first time in the history of this indicator, that indicator flashed a blue signal. And we are, so when we flashed it here, we were below we were coming below the 20 SMA, and now we are still above it. So the big question is, does this mean with all this very low volatility and that we could be heading into a massive run up where we would get this indicator higher again? Could this be basically the end of accumulation already, or is this indicator absolutely just trash? We don't know, but for sure, I think that's super interesting because of look at all the times also where this indicator didn't flash a bar, but where this indicator basically where this indicator was overheated, so to say, and we had a drawdown afterwards. And you see also when this happens, right? The swing comes directly when it's touching. Here, for example, also when we have a very overheated one, we see that this is basically the peak, right? These peaks here in this indicator, they are marking more or less the peak of a move, and then we have a downswing. And likewise, we're marking bottoms of a certain move. So here, for example, we have this move, and we are blue in this indicator, and we're coming up, right? We're blue in this indicator, and we're coming out of the bear market. So right now, also here, even in the bull run, we had a blue phase, and we were coming up for the double peak, right? So right now we have never been as blue as this one, and we should be coming up big time. And this doesn't have to play out because this is a 2-week, each candle is a 2-week. This doesn't have to play out within the next week, right? This can take a month to play out. We can still head to 22,000 and have this indicator moving on the bottom line. But the overall message is that we are so severely oversold with low volatility and so due for a swing high in the macro like here. And we are just on the verge of this. So I think we have maybe some months of accumulation left for us, but then we should be turning around if everything is working out that way. So everything points at the moment to a violent move, also because of that low liquidity. So smash up the like button if you want to have Bitcoin going higher. But that's the signal. That is the signal that has not flashed for 10 entire since 2013 and has never flashed blue, never. So that said, we also have some altcoin news to go over this time, and this time is about MakerDAO and Ethereum. So Ethereum's Vitalik Buterin sells $500,000 of MakerDAO tokens, and the community asks why, and I can tell you why he did that. Because MakerDAO and DAI creator proposes new native chain based on Solana fork. So the co-founder Rune Christensen is proposing that Maker launches its own native blockchain based on the Solana code base. So obviously Maker has been on Ethereum before, and yes, if you are leaving the Vitalik's basically ecosystem, then why should he be holding on to the tokens, right? So he dumped that. But also interesting that these projects that they're choosing Solana right now. And here in the post from May, Christensen said the fifth and final phase of Endgame was the launch of New Chain, a separate chain that houses backend security while interacting with Ethereum through a state-of-art bridge. The last phase endgame is the launch of native blockchain with that codename New Chain. So that is why Vitalik sold off this specific token. Understandable in my opinion. Energy asked, or Veve Wheels is I missed some here. So Tito 420, you see good vibes for everyone, and let's go from Veve Wheels. And Energy says, what's your top altcoin this upcoming bull run? Oh, that's so difficult. So I think Ecomi, maybe, probably, just because of the violent potential that Ecomi has. If they deliver into an absolute craze and hype from people, there's like that is my top altcoin, I guess. But other than that, I think that the top ones, the ones that are going to have the most violent moves, are not even out yet. So it's hard to say. I'm extremely bullish on Arweave as a storage project, but we could also see a return of DeFi. So maybe there needs to be some DeFi accumulation. I'm not sure. So I'm building up several little bags in those projects. So like Arweave, Cardano, Taraxa, Tap, but also bigger ones like Chainlink, Polygon Matic, ADA. What else do I have? So yeah, those are some. Here we have a little, Phantom. So here we have a little bit of a list of altcoins in terms of total transactions on popular blockchain platforms. And guys, let me know if you think that we should have some altcoin news besides Bitcoin and Ecomi, or if you think that you're not interested in getting new information in for the bull run. But we see here total transactions on popular blockchain platforms we see also here the launch date basically of this platform, and it doesn't matter, it's layer 1, layer 2, doesn't matter, but we see here BNB is the most active one, and yet Binance chain is in big trouble still from a TA perspective. So I'm going to a little bit to the side because there are some others. So we have here a list of blockchain activity, and we see Polygon has 3 billions of transactions on top of it. So a very, very big, it's bigger than Ethereum in that sense. It's a Ethereum scaling solution, so it influences Ethereum likewise because it's built on Ethereum, right? But then we have Sui, then we have Phantom already, and Phantom is down bad, really, really bad. So I have a little bit of Phantom. I'm looking still to increase my bag for Phantom. Yeah, and also, Sean ZZ says stacking up on that VRA. Yeah, let me know, guys. Let me know in the chat right now what you're stacking for the bull run. That will be interesting. So I will be buying some of that maybe as well, what you guys are suggesting. So I have a little bit of veracity, but maybe I'll buy a little bit more. So there's Phantom, there's Near Protocol, there's Avalanche, also down very, very bad. Then, very interesting, we have Aptos, Arbitrum, and Optimism. And Arbitrum and Optimism, they never had a bull run, right? They came out afterwards. So there could be also an argument made to say, hey, we should be accumulating some of the coins that never had a bull run because they tend to pump more violently than the established ones. And then we have Cardano. Actually, that's disappointing transaction numbers for Cardano, which is also why I don't know if I have $1,000. I think I would more or less say I'll take these coins here instead of Cardano, right? Just because of way more activity, although Cardano has a very big community, but I think the potential upside, and that's all that matters, is higher on the other ones, right? And then there's Darknet, ZK Sync, Base, Linear, Mantle. So very interesting stats in my opinion, worth looking at. Yeah. Then next altcoin news worth talking about in my opinion is this one here. Gala Games co-founders sue each other alleging corporate waste 130 million theft. Two co-founders of blockchain games developer Gala Games are currently suing each other. Gala CEO Eric Schiermeier alleges the company's director Wright Thurston stole 130 million in Gala tokens back in 2021 through his company True North United Investments, which owns 45% of Gala. According to Schiermeier, the tokens were initially moved to a company wallet, then spread into 43 other wallets under Thurston control before being sold in a complex web of obfuscatory transactions between September 22 and May 2023. Now, the token dump has already been happening, right? The token dump is already gone, but the big black swan or the big black event here is not the token selling of 130 million into the market. The big problem is that the co-founders are suing each other. Imagine David and Dan would be suing each other and would get into a nasty fight over stealing tokens and dumping tokens or over stealing and dumping altcoins. That's the worst thing that can happen to a project, right? So here in terms of Gala, I think you guys should know about it in case that you're either in this or that you are thinking about buying it. You should know that this fight is going on. Price of Gala dropped significantly on the news. The Gala Games ecosystem's native token has fallen over 5% in the last 24 hours and currently changing hands at $0.01 dollars according to CoinGecko. Now, that's bad news, obviously. Straight out of my bed. Hey, that name is weird to say as hell. Straight out of... I'm thinking of straight out of your bed. I would say straight out of your bed. I'm thinking of coming to Munich next month. Where are you in Germany? I am in Munich. So yeah, just let me know if you're here in October. Just let me know. Maybe you can get in contact with me on Twitter, and then we can see if we can have a meetup or so. Philippe says I have Omi BTC ETH XRP Chainlink. Omi BTC ETH XRP Chainlink ADA Neo Anchor. Oh yeah, Anchor is also a good one. Or Anchor is a good one. I like Anchor. That's a good idea. I don't have Anchor, but I like Anchor, so I should be having. What's this little fly here getting on my nerves? Yeah, anyway, so if you like these altcoin news, then please let me know either in the comments or right now in the chat. If you don't like them, also please let me know, just so we know how we should structure this somewhere in the stream. We obviously can't do market watch for every altcoin that is out there, but we can still find the biggest news. Actually, funny thing is that Vitalik Buterin sold off Maker right 2 days ago, and now we have the bounce back against in the top 100 of 10%. So the market says, okay, no problem. Although on the week, Maker is still down 10%, so it had a big dump. People are buying it because they don't care. Yeah. Also, in general, altcoins still are bleeding into Bitcoin, in my opinion. This bleeding is continuing. On the month, we are down on almost everything, despite some. Actually, very interesting that Rune is coming up here with 56% on the month, and then on the top two or on the week we actually see Maker, Yota, and Ton coming up a little bit, some in the green, XLM still green. On the day we have some others, slight movers like Polygon, but the market is still mixed, undecided, waiting for Bitcoin to make a move. And let's see also on the month and down to today, the top 200. So on the month, Ecomi is one of the biggest movers with 50%. Only LivePeer is bigger. No, Akash Network also bigger. Akash Network is the name. And we see the rest is still red, still waiting for some moves here on the monthly basis. But it's really good to see that Ecomi is already has been suffering all the time. Now it's up big time and is still in the top 200. I think with the next bigger or more violent moves, we will see Ecomi going into the top 100. Then we do not have to go down here in the top 200 anymore. But to be honest, we can find some nice altcoins also in the top 200s that are still down pretty bad on the month or so. For example, Helium token, Engine is here. If we can also use stuff like this to make our altcoin research, right? So overall, I think very interesting here. Omi down on the week 10%. This is just a normal retracement. Today another 2%. 2%. We are going to look at how this looks. Stan says, I thought if you have Omi, you must have IMX. It's actually not the case. I was hesitant on IMX. I still am. I might be getting some before the next bull run really or altcoin run really starts. But my problem with IMX was that there is a lot in founder wallets and I think VC wallets and so on. So I think there's a lot of IMX tokens that is not circulating. So I don't really like the setup just yet. But maybe I'm wrong on this and then you tell me. Let's look quickly at the dollar without going too much into it. But bad news, because this is something we don't want to see. The dollar tries to break out of this overhead resistance and is actually now getting beyond this high, and this could mean, look, here's something that we don't want to see, right? Inverse head and shoulders, because for everyone who doesn't know it, the dollar is inversely correlated to crypto, especially Bitcoin, especially tech stocks in the market. And whenever this is rallying, tech stocks are having a bad time usually. You see this rally here. This rally caused us in the Nasdaq to drop out of this trend line, and we see the Nasdaq is reacting red to this news. So if we close here above this line, there's potential further upside for the DXY, and that means downside in the immediate short term, maybe even over the next 1 or 2 months for Bitcoin, right? So if this is an inverse, it's actually not based. No, it's not. It's not, because we did not touch here. Sorry about that. It's not. But it doesn't matter, because if we break this trend line, it doesn't matter if this is an inverse head and shoulders or not. What matters is if we break this, we would form something like this, right? We would form an uptrend here. And then we have to look at the more macro and see, are we going to trend reverse here, right? So this is not good. If we are closing above this, we would have a uptrend here. But forget the inverse head and shoulders. It's actually not true. So let's look at Bitcoin also on that note, because I have too many lines, guys. I have too many lines. Here we go. That is from yesterday's stream. Let's get rid of this. So actually, it looks like Bitcoin wants to play out exactly what we have been saying. So we have this inverse little cup and handle here. And now Bitcoin is clearly losing the weekly support, right? This support is what we have drawn in from the weekly. So if you look at this, right, this is the weekly support here. And Bitcoin is basically just heading down to 25,000 again, and the big question is just will it completely? Usually you would say if you lose the support, you would break down to 20 something thousand, right? So we see here right now that it's basically, you could also argue that it already lost the support. So we have confluence here, and here. It's relatively unclear, but let's say that this resistance was actually here, and this was the support line, right? Somewhere here. And then you already have your bearish retest here. Yeah. But, we're not too sure. But this is clearly lost. If we close this candle here, we could look at some downside to 25,000. Let's see how it plays out. But on that note, we are severely oversold, let's say. Oversold, yeah. On the weekly though, we are not oversold yet. So on the weekly, I think there could be more downside to come. And yeah, that's what we are looking at. In the maximum, we are looking at 22,000. So let's give this a price tag. Where is the price tags? There we go. Price label. Let's put it somewhere here. So yeah, that we would basically say before we hit 46,000, according to what we see right now, we might hit 22,000 first, which then would be an entry point. The FUD will increase. The despair will go. The bears will call for 3,000 Bitcoin once again, because they will say this was only a relief rally and we are coming down to the real bottom now. We are going to flash crash into oblivion. I don't think so. I think what is going to happen is in the maximum that we get this little drawdown, we come back up, we coil up here, test this, come back up, and then we break out and go into somewhere like this, into the halving, right? So the halving would be somewhere around here, actually exactly around here, like I drew it. So yeah, I think that's the case. Any opinion on BTC ordinals? So yeah, ordinals are making a big share of the activity on the Bitcoin network at the moment. And I think ordinals are the logical consequence of the NFT movement that is also for Bitcoin enthusiasts on top of Bitcoin. I think ordinals are good for Bitcoin. I think it's just an application that brings value to Bitcoin in just a completely other form. Some Bitcoin purists say you don't need NFTs, you don't need ordinals on Bitcoin. It's just a pure Bitcoin, but I don't care. I think it's good for Bitcoin. It brings adoption, it brings attention. So I really don't see the downside for that. So I don't have a clear opinion yet on different ordinals project, because I think it's just the same thing happening that happened on Ethereum, just on Bitcoin once again, where people just mint pictures and stuff like that on Bitcoin, and many people will get wrecked again, but overall I think is good. Oh, by the way, don't forget, I pointed this out before, if we would bounce on this, or we did bounce on this, right, what you could argue is here the case, instead of the cup and handle, right, you could say that we have ourselves a left shoulder, a head, a little right shoulder, boom, and down we go, right? And that's the same. That's just the same target as if we are considering this. And then also don't forget, we have called before this one here, which is also to consider: left shoulder, right head, right shoulder, boop, right? Continue, drop out of this. So this would be the line here for this head and shoulders pattern. We did say this before, that when we lose this trend line, it's going to be nasty in the immediate short term. It's becoming nasty. We are already down. We are already down almost 12% from that drop down. And now we are going to see what's happening. If we lose this level, we're probably coming down another 12% in the maximum. I think something like that to our price target here. This is not for trading for me. It's just for knowing where price could go and for finding a potential new entry point for me. And if Bitcoin goes down like this, altcoins probably also bleed. Taffy Jones says, looking to pull the trigger on AM15 today. On Amazing Fantasy 15 comic on Veve NFT. Seems to ranging around 325. I thought the secret rare, but yeah, it's also big like the common. Okay, anyone know if it's been that price for a while? Yeah, it has been for a while, I think. Yeah. I think it's trading at 300 for a while, so you shouldn't be afraid of not getting it because of cash out. I think there is still sell-off going on. I don't know if you should speculate on sub 300, because we never know when the turnaround is coming, but you definitely do not have pressure with the 300, I think. My personal opinion, but do your own decisions by any means. I don't want to be the guy that told you not to buy. And then it goes completely crazy, right? Yeah, so still observing this altcoin market pattern. Obviously, nothing has changed. We'll go over it. Let's talk about Ecomi. So Ecomi has lost the 001. And has lost also this previous peak support for the moment. We didn't close below it, but I think that retracement will go deeper than this support. So there might be a good entry coming in somewhere at 0008 for people. Because look at the RSI, we're nowhere near oversold. So usually we can come down as much as 4. If we consider that Omi has been turning into a bull market right now, and that we are in a bull market, even then you could wait until an RSI of 40, which would be then the oversold territory. And should be bouncing off of this area around 0008. So everyone who was hoping for some entries for Ecomi, I think that would be more or less the range. So yeah, also here we can maybe set a price label to monitor a little bit better where we want to be. I will put it more conservatively here, right? So yeah, there could be a retracement down to this level, which would be another, from here, it would be another 10%. At least, right? And then we look how Omi behaves. For me, at least, that's if Omi just finds some support and continues, or if Omi bounces a little bit and goes back in accumulation range. We don't know. Yo, Caro, what up? How are you doing? Taffy says, don't worry, I won't blame you. And Energy says, have also no AF15. Yeah, AF15 is just a mega grail, right? But on the other hand, I think it's, I don't know if it's overpriced, but I think there are better deals right now. Because I'd rather have a relatively valuable secret rare than AF15 common. I don't know if that makes sense, but for example, take Journey into Mystery 85, secret rare, 600 editions, trading at 300. 25 gems below AF15 common. AF15 common has like 7,000 editions, so 10 times the edition numbers. So obviously the comic is way more valuable in real life. That's true, but it's one of the classic. The second secret rare that ever came out is Journey into Mystery 85, right? So what's more likely to go to $3,000? Journey into Mystery 85 or the common of AF15? What's more likely to go to 3,000, like doing a 10x, right? So that's my thinking. So what can I get in the market for 300, and then I would put them against each other. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not sure. I personally probably go and buy some secret rares, but I understand that this is the biggest comic in history, from besides the Superman one on DC, right? So anyways, this is what I see for and this doesn't have to happen, right? It could be that we just came, while we were talking, we just came back up to the support. So what could happen is that we just start moving sideways on this, right? Or that we are curving out like this. It could happen, but for me, more likely than not, we are retracing deeper. Also with a potential drop in Bitcoin and so on. We don't know yet. So yeah. I'm observing. If it goes to that price targets, I'll buy more Ecomi. Let's talk a little bit about Veve. So yeah, there's not much going on, to be honest, from a drop perspective. So there is the first Thor 1 issue ever. This is a modern comic, don't get fooled. I think it's not worth much in IRL. There's another Tarzan comic, which I have none of these. I don't participate in the drops. I don't collect Tarzan. And Tinkerbell is still sitting in store, I believe. So it could be that Tinkerbell is also a little bit more scarce in terms of the pencils. If you're collecting those, so be careful about this. When usually a good time to buy the pencil is right after the airdrop, a couple of hours after the airdrop, if you didn't participate in the drop but you want to buy this pencil. I've seen that the Lion King one, for example, that it traded at 21 gems, so around 20 gems seems to be the bottom for these pencils before they coil up again. So yeah, just so you know. Yeah, I think there is something big looming because Veve is putting out. So we didn't have an announcement after Tinkerbell. Veve is just putting out some random comics here for the week. So I think there's a bigger thing coming. And we know there is a bigger drop announcement coming from the Discord, where they apparently said something in that direction. And for Ecomi, I think the next big push will be when they announce the bronze tickets with the burn mechanic. But let's look at the Thor. I think it's a cool cover. I like Thor. Many people are fans of Thor, and I think that's the. Now I'm not quite sure because they are also similar. If this is the secret rare, and I think this is the ultra rare. Yeah, this is the ultra rare here on the left. So the secret rare is this one. Here we see it from Sergio. He says like the value on a 9.9 is 260. If the supply is 5k or less, he would go for it. The same for me. If the supply is 10k or so, I definitely don't go for the drop here on those comics. So right now in the bear market, I'm looking for this bear market scarcity. So that's the only reason, probably, if prices are coiling back up for those 7,500 and 10k comics, then I'd probably also go for it. But at the moment, you're just hitting. The thing is, you always can hit a good mint number. You always can hit a good rarity combined with a nice mint number. But in the end, usually you just hit a common, and then you're sad that it's trading at 2 gems. And you could have bought 3 commons instead, right, for the money that you're putting in. But this is always a gamble, and I'd rather buy a secret rare just off of after the drop for 50, 60 gems on a 188 scarcity than hitting some random rarities without a secret rare directly on drop. So I agree with Sergio here that only on a 5,000 scarcity I'd participate. So I think that is it for today. There's not much coming from Veve. We are waiting for the big announcement. Maybe hopefully today something bigger is coming. We'll have to wait and see, observe the market. And by the way, so just because Taffy says it, there's one more thing. So first of all, I've seen yesterday that Bezosman continued to buy. That is one thing, and then I have to put out another thing because some people don't know it. So let's just look at one thing and then the other. So don't go away just yet. There's more coming. So until 2 hours ago, Bezosman was buying again, and we see here a lot of common comics again all over the board. So he's just, I said this yesterday on around the Ecomiverse, but I want to hammer this point home once again. Bezosman is wiping floors in a very subtle way. So you see this, for example, 2 of these. Look at this golden moments, right? 2 of these. So he's just buying. So here, 3 secret rares, because they probably all have been sitting at a very low floor of this amazing Spider-Man. I think it's Black Widow or something comic. 3 secret rares, right? I think it's secret rare. I'm not quite sure. We can see it here, I think. Yeah, it's a secret rare, right? So this one here. And now the thing is, also in crypto, whales like Bezosman, or whales in general, they are putting in a buy. They don't drop into the market. They are putting in a buy order, and every time that the price dips into that buy order, they have a little bit of it filled, right? And they let it sit there, move it up or down according to price action to like really like this mega like the blue whales and stuff like that in the ocean that just open a mouth and slowly go through an entire swarm of fish, and then have tons of that and then they just go away with all of that and leave nothing on the table. So Bezosman could have gone into one of these comics and just bought everything and we would immediately note it, but he doesn't. The only people that know about what Bezosman is doing are us that are monitoring this on Immutascan all the time and that are using tools like the VVX tracker. So Bezosman wants to accumulate and he doesn't want price action. It's clear. We see it clearly on everything that he's doing. He just hit over 25,000 collectibles right now. And this is with 1 day offset. So all of these purchases here, they are not part of it, right? So for example, why does he buy one John F. Walker, one Fallen Sun, 2 Marvels here of this, 2 Uncanny X-Men? Why doesn't he? And we did see the same comics yesterday and before and so on. So we always see like 2, 5, 10, but not more. We never see 100, 200, 300 bought at higher prices. We only see that he cleans up what has been listed way under floor price. So for example, this store, probably there were, like he looks into it, okay, 2 very low ones, let's buy them up, right? He probably saw 2 pretty cheap Darth Vaders, okay, let's buy some. Winnie the Pooh, Golden Moments, buy 2 of each, buy 3 here because they are cheap, right? He bought 4 of this because it's probably like if they're all on floor and then from the 4 there's only like 30 cents difference, no one will notice that 4 editions are gone. And that's what he does all the time, right? So here he scooped up some older collectibles without token information here. We don't even know what he's buying there, but look at this. He just wants to open a Veve store apparently because he just he just bought 3 skateboards, for example. He bought a Robin. So it's very likely that some of these tokens are season 1, 2, 3 black and white collectibles. Yeah, so really, if we look at here, for example, posters, he bought a Choices, he bought more skateboards, right? But always only 1 or 2 of them. And then again, so if you look at, for example, here, look, this comic, New Mutants, uncommon. A lot of, like, 6 of them, right? And we see this all the time. So I really want to hammer this point home that I believe that he just scoops up everything and then at some point, I mean, this vault value will go completely insane once the price is, once there's some seller exhaustion and there's just nothing for him to scoop up anymore. And then people come back in and then they are going to buy a 10x from Bezosman because they just were not active in this market. So even if we are smaller fish, we can still learn something from this, and that is that apparently Bezosman is bullish on all of this. And maybe he's bullish on MCP points. So last thing here, in order for you to see what you could accumulate and what not, you can use this site here, vevesetlist.com. So, for example, if I say I have the criteria of secret rare comics, I can look for the price. So for example here, apparently Spider-Woman and Vote Loki and stuff are available under 30 gems at the moment with 600 scarcity, right? So instead of buying a common AF-15, just saying that right now, you could also have all of these secret rare comics, right? And you wouldn't even exceed there are a lot of secret rare comics actually at the moment at only 20 something gems. So we see prices trickle down, and you also see the price difference. What you also can do is, if you say that you are interested in MCP points, you can sort this list by MCP, and you will find out that there are actually a lot of rare comics where you get basically at a $2.75 or $2.99 per MCP points. But if you're going into collectibles, we see that actually there are some collectibles like the Holiday Elf Stamps Earth Day and the Presidential Series where you get more MCP points per dollar spent than if you buy comics at the moment. That was not like this all the time, but right now it is. So actually the Holiday Elves, for example, of the rares, you get below $2 per MCP point. And then I think, let's see if there's any set that gives you a better ratio. Dollar per MCP. Yeah, only the Soulstone. If you have not one yet, you can buy one for $4, and for $2 you also get a full set. But yeah, that's basically, this website can help you making decisions for your strategy. And I'm not affiliated with this website. I just use it, and I thought you might be interested in this. So you can look at, for example, also for ultra rare comics, and then you can say, hey, I want to know what the cheapest ultra rares are. Thor God of Thunder apparently available for 10 gems. Uncanny X-Men 244. So if you're more into ultra rare, but there is a higher ratio for MCP points because ultra rares are not as low. So overall, you see that Bezosman and the other whales, they're just accumulating big time. As we can see here, number 5, also 200 collectibles in the last 7 days. This is only net accumulation in the last 7 days. So yeah, I think that's pretty big. And then obviously we have this guy here still selling off. He's still buying and selling off. So he's now relatively stable at position 26. He could be rearranging his portfolio, and if that's the case, you really do not have any bearish ones anymore. If that's the case, other than that, he's the only one. So yeah, Energy is saying broke last week the 250 set mark, but nothing in comparison to Bezosman. Yeah, Bezosman is probably in another league of financial capabilities, because you have to see the secret rares that he is buying, and the higher value stuff is still like 50, 60 gems per collectible. And other than that, let's say he bought 100 higher value ones and then 2,000 in the 2 to 5 gem area. That's still a ton of money, right? Even if he bought every of his collectibles at 2 gems only, even if that was the case, he would have still put $50,000 in the app, right? Which is not much money. You have to see, that wouldn't be much money. Probably, I think he probably spent like a $200,000 on his stack, and that's also not too much, right? Because if you think about the whales that are out there, that's actually not a big deal. But as I said yesterday, also on Around the Ecomiverse, I think that he could be driving in the only in first gear, and that he could still gear up his purchasing if he wants to, or if they want to. However, this guy is, or however the total thing is. Yeah, and maybe we will see another one of these popping up very soon, and then it's getting exciting in this market. But yeah, with that said, the Vivi Zombie says, "Hey, patient handler, have you seen the crypto that he's affiliated with? Just picked up some. Be a smart player. Be a smart play, Bezos." Yeah, I know. He is. I think he is from the Bezogis. It's like there is a Bezogi or the Zogis. It's an NFT project. They have their own, I think, metaverse, at least metaverse, like little collectibles, metaverse compatible collectibles and so on. They are on OpenSea. I think Bezosman is also on OpenSea. But I've not bought any of these. But I'm aware, and I've shown it, or I've showed it on the stream as well. So yes, but thank you for pointing that out again. Yes, obviously, Bezosman is apparently not only into Veve only recently. Yeah, we will see. But anyways, let's end it right here. So guys, please smash up the like button if you enjoyed this stream today. Subscribe to the channel, tick the little bell to always get notified when I go live. Yeah, so really appreciate if you leave that like. Please go through the effort to do that, to like up this stream. And with that said, wherever you are on the world, have a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. I see you in tomorrow's